I haven't seen you for about 24 hours. How was your day?
It was good.
But what did you have a good day at least?
Yeah, it was fun. Basically got to relax. Hung out with Callie and Sawyer, and I was planning on doing yard work, but basically it was raining all day, so couldn't do that.
I was gonna say it was pretty shitty weather up here too, so I can't imagine you got a lot done outside.
Not even a chance. I don't even think I've gone outside to throw out trash, so.
Yesterday was a tease. It was like crappy weather in the morning, and it was really nice in the afternoon.
Oh, absolutely. It worked. It worked out well. By the way, congratulations.
Thanks. I still can't believe that she did that. That was
Really?
a hell of a surprise. I mean, I guess not. I should have expected it knowing her, but like the fact that she planned it out a month in advance and surprised me with a party was like, it was nuts. And anxiety inducing because I hate being the center of attention.
Oh, trust me, I was getting nervous because the gift I sent wasn't supposed to show up till the day of the party, and then
Oh,
I got
yeah?
notification that it was early, so I was texting Meg, it's coming in early. Can you please grab it? Because last thing I wanted to do was screw up the party.
Dude, you know what's funny is I grabbed the mail from outside too, and I read the package and it said Mitchell family, so I was like, huh, I'm guessing this is addressed to us. What do you want me to do with this? She goes, don't open it, I'll just take that one and the other one, because the other one was addressed to her only. So she's like, I'll just take both these and I'll open them. I'm like, okay, cool. I just set them down and left them. Didn't think anything of it.
So it worked out all fine.
So yes, thank you for the new model. I cannot wait to put it together. We'll have to plan a day to make another one.
Oh, hell yeah. I know it's not the death scythe. Trust me, God, I want one. I figured that would come in close second, maybe.
Oh yeah, I love putting those things together. I'm not really picky. Just the Death Scythe and the Wing Zero or like Pie in the Sky ones again. Maybe you get them eventually.
Oh, absolutely. Just gotta wait till the prices start going down again.
Good luck with that. So yes, thank you for the model and thank you for coming yesterday. It was fun.
No problem. It was fun. It was fun as well.
After I finally calmed down and was ready for it, yes, it was fun.
It was cool. It was nice. It was nice. I've never seen a place like that. Like the actual brewery was in the bar was in in the brewery and everything like that. So.
Mm-hmm. And right next to a rock wall for people to watch everybody climb it.
That's even better. I'm like, holy shit.
And then it kept like the kids busy too, because they would watch every so often, just watch people climbing up and stuff.
Oh yeah, Sawyer was starting around half the time when he was eating pizza, and then they wanted to play with the oh my god, the ping pong table and everything like that.
The fact that they had a ping pong table was pretty cool because all the kids wanted to try that.
Yes, it was, and then my son turned into a total nut.
What happened?
No, he just kept he kept wanting to join in on the game that was being played by your friend and his son, and he would try to join in, and then would run circles, get a new ball, and everything like that. And the poor kid was trying to put the extra ball away. And I was like, "Come on, let's go. Let them be. We'll go when it's our turn." And he's like, "No, don't take me out of the team." I'm like, "Yeah."
Is that what he said? Did he say, "Don't take me out of the team"? Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you feel bad.
He's been pretty good with hitting those heartstrings today. Or this weekend, anyways.
I saw the picture you sent. He passed out right in the car, like right after.
Oh yeah, the second we hit the highway.
Can't say I blame him. I was tired after everything too. It was like, it was exhausting in a good way.
Well, I'm glad you have fun. That's
the
nice. part.
I appreciate it. It was nice seeing everybody, especially people we haven't seen in a while too, like family and friends.
Oh, absolutely.
It was cool. I appreciated it. And I kept repeating to Megan last night too, like after I got to read the cards and like settle down after everything. I'm like, too much from everybody. I don't need this kind of stuff. I don't need this recognition. But I appreciate it.
It doesn't happen often, Adam. Enjoy.
No, it doesn't. I don't have to if I don't want to. You're not the boss of me.
Too damn bad.
So, As I ask you every time we start to record this, you play anything fun or new?
Not really new. Uh, Finally was able to put some decent amount of time in Dreamlight Valley. Helped Callie out a little. Well, that didn't really help, but she's been playing a little bit more. And if she had any questions, I would throw some information her way. But everything's been pretty much that. Wanna say, uh, back to the. Remember what I was talking about when you trap the people?
Don't you point at me. You
Oh,
put
sorry.
that finger down.
Remember how we were talking about that? I told you that trick where you can trap your partner.
Yes.
And then when I let him go, he just exploded a flash of
Explodes.
light and it crashed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently I've never used Wally since then because I happened to grab him because he was in the same biome as me, so I could get the bonus. And the second he unleashed the first one, it was another flash.
Mm-hmm.
Except this time it didn't crash, and the entire freaking biome was full of pumpkins, and I'm like, oh.
Like it doubled it or just kept multiplying it? So it was like everywhere?
I'm assuming whatever was supposed to be released when I let him go that last time got released at that moment, because it was the
like
first
from the
time.
previous crash?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, oh, shit.
That's interesting. I wonder, like, there is a what's the word? Like a constant time, because it runs off the time of the actual time zone you're in.
Right.
So I'm wondering if like that online part of it kept that in memory. So it's like, oh yeah, you didn't collect this last time, so here you go, and it gave you all that too.
Oh, absolutely. The only thing that sucked was when it let go. There was so much that I couldn't collect it all before the blue shimmering light disappeared.
No.
So I sat there collecting more than half of it individually. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this again.
Did you pick up your moonstones from your mailbox?
Yes, I did. Which is good because I ended up buying the Halloween pack because I wanted all the items on that one.
Cool. So apparently we forgot that we bought the Founders Pack.
Yeah.
And we got the 2,500 moonstones that they gave out to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, we never checked our mailbox. We didn't know we had this shit. So we went through and accepted like all the mail and stuff. We ended up with like 40,000 moonstones and like all the pets and things that they put out and all the extra stuff too. I'm like, oh, I guess we got more stuff to play with now. Forgot all about that crap.
So wait, hold on. What Founders Pack did you guys buy? Because I thought the game came with the Xbox Pass.
It's free with Game Pass, yeah, but I was like, if we want all the extra stuff, I'll buy one of the packs. I don't remember which one we got. I forgot that we bought it in the first place.
Because if you had like around, the game didn't give out very much, so you might have gotten one of the top tiers. If you have about 40,000.
While we're talking, I'm gonna check my orders and I will find out, because it was a surprise to see that. Because I'm like, I know I talked about doing it, but I don't remember actually pulling the trigger on it.
Yeah, because if you got the one that came with the oh my god, the support animal, then yeah, you definitely ended up getting the top tier one.
We got she was playing around with some of those pets, and Pua was following her.
Yeah, I realized that Pua was one of the support animals. I'm like, oh shit! I just realized that today. And Callie was pissed. She's like, where the hell did you get Pua? I'm like, it's for you to find out.
Oh, wait a minute. Does she have access to the stuff that you do since it's on the same system?
It's the same. It's the same system. The only thing she didn't get as part of the like she got the Founders Pack items. The only thing she didn't get was the week 1 release items. So like the Choco Crocodile.
Yeah.
That was week 1. She didn't get that because she didn't create her profile until the very next week.
Oh, well, darn. But at least she does have access to the other stuff. That's cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Here's a fun game that I still haven't looked at the trailer for, and I'm assuming it's a Canadian game. The game is called Milk Inside a Bag of Milk Inside a Bag of Milk, and Milk Outside a Bag of Milk Outside a Bag of Milk.
What?
Yes. You heard me. Would
I
you like me
gotta-
to read the title again?
No, I'm good. I just want to see it just to see it.
I apparently bought Dragon's Dogma for $5 back in August, and I never downloaded it and played it. I have problems. I need to go back and actually play these things.
Well, the holidays are coming up.
The order history doesn't go back far enough. It stops at August 23rd. So I don't know.
Well, do you remember what items were in the inbox?
Not offhand. Wonder if it's because we got it through Game Pass that they gave that to all Game Pass owners too or something.
Might have been. They might have had business bonuses.
I'm gonna have to scour their stuff and see. So that's all just more Disney?
Basically, slime game as usual.
I was about to ask that too. Of course, gotta play the mobile game.
Oh, absolutely. Especially now that they have the multiplayer tournament up going now. I'm having fun with that.
You enjoy that. More power to you. Did I tell you about the game that I'm stuck on right now? The
No.
Vampire Survivors?
I don't think so.
I know I sent you the picture of it. If I said Bullet Hell, do you know what that is?
Not a frickin' clue.
Okay. Do you know what a shmup is?
I know what a schmuck is.
Not that. Shmup. It's like shorthand for shoot 'em up. It's like the top-down arcade games where you're like a ship and you're flying through a level and you're shooting the things that come by you, or sometimes that they're on the ground and you drop bombs on them as you go. Like that was the old idea. Or like Ikaruga where you have to match the colors to avoid the shots.
Yeah.
So it's like that. It's a top-down idea. This game is like your vampire hunters or monster killers.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't attack. You don't do anything but move your character. It automatically attacks based on what weapon you have and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And as you defeat enemies, you gain experience. You turn those experience into upgrading different weapons, or you get different weapons depending on what they give you access to in that level, and it's always random.
Okay.
And your goal is to survive as long as you can by killing people, upgrading, and getting new weapons. And sometimes weapons and equipment will evolve if you get like the synergies with them.
Mm-hmm.
And as time goes on, more stronger enemies come in, more waves of enemies come in, to the point where you're just one person and you are completely surrounded by things. And you have to have like the right DPS set up and things like that to be able to survive it.
Oh, Jesus.
It gets crazy. But the average game that you'll play is like 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
So it's like the perfect amount of game time. Because it's like, I could just play one more. And I did that the other night and was stuck on it for 3 hours. I can't recommend that game enough. And it's only $5 too. It's really fun.
Okay. Now is that on Steam or were you talking about?
Started off on PC and Steam, and now it's on Xbox, and I'm pretty sure it's on PlayStation as well.
Okay.
I recommend anyone who likes games to at least give that one a try.
Right, it is noted.
I've been trying to make some time to play it all day today too, and I still haven't got to. But I don't need to. I can quit anytime. I don't have a problem. You have a problem.
I know the feeling. It's kind of hard to scold Callie to get off her phone when she's got stuff to do. When I'm not exactly the best example.
You should be setting the example.
I try. And I fail miserably.
At least you come by it honestly. I guess, by the way, this is the Ramblepack podcast. There's your introduction. I'm Adam.
And I'm Mike.
What episode are we on again? 16 now? 15? 16?
Oh, Jesus.
16. Jesus,
Yes.
I keep doing this because the special episode makes it 17 with this one. But that's special episode number 1. Ay. One of these days I'll get to putting the numbers at the beginning of the titles, too. I'll get to it, eventually. And we'll get to making a new logo, too, when we find time.
Yes.
Life
I'm
is
sorry,
busy.
guys.
All good. So, just right off the bat, we're going to save the best for last. Just because it's a hell of a story that's been 2 years in the making.
Oh, Jesus. Oh,
Yes.
that's going to be fun.
And you had the best reaction to it, too. You're like, holy shit, this is great. Seriously, I was like, oh, wow, I can't believe this is coming out. And you're like, yes, let's do it. You had the perfect reaction. I'm like, awesome.
I loved it, and let's just say it was fun.
Fun for who?
Well,
Matter of perspective.
yeah. Well, fun for me to read it, because I felt like that meme with the popcorn, and I'm like, yeah.
Or the Kermit one sipping his tea. He's just like, I'm just going to sit back and check this out.
Yeah. Oh.
All right, enough teasing.
Okay.
So one of the cool things that I saw this week was I didn't pay attention to who got the numbers or where it came from, but apparently the Switch passed I fucking lost it. 114.33 million Switch consoles since they first started. And I'm not surprised, but that's an amazing number.
Oh, I agree. That is absolutely amazing, especially after I look. Like one of the articles I was reading actually listed off like the next mile marks. Mm-hmm. They're gonna pass PlayStation 4 shortly. They're expecting that to be by the end of the year. I think theirs is like what 118 or something like that.
I think that's right.
Sony
still has I think PS2s are still the most sold consoles ever, which is crazy.
Right. But even then, if they're selling sold this many copies this soon into the Switch being released, I don't doubt it passing that in the next couple of years.
They might be able to hit 200,000 before they start talking about their next one, I bet.
Oh, I'm sure. But
that's
nuts.
The thing I find cool about that too is Nintendo plays in their own sandbox kind of thing. Yeah, Xbox versus Sony, but then Nintendo's like, hey, I'm over here. You guys have fun. They just do their own thing, and it works. They don't have to play by the same rules as the other guys.
Basically, they've been there longer. You guys bitch and complain and all that stuff, and guess what? We're going to have our fun.
And did you know that Nintendo didn't even make video games to start?
I did not.
Yeah, their first inception into games was they made trading cards. They were a trading card company and would make different kinds, different designs and things on them. And I forget what made them start investing into video games, but they broke into it I want to say with arcades. Because the Famicom and the Super NES is where they put Mario proper on and kind of revitalized the market.
No.
So a lot of their stuff was in arcades first. And then they literally revived the video game market with Mario and what was it, Donkey. I don't think they brought Donkey Kong on the NES, but it was Mario and then eventually Legend of Zelda and all the other ones.
Right. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yes,
you learned something today.
Yes, I'm a horrible video game fan.
You're fine. I don't think everybody knows that. I mean, this was years ago, too. Well, decades. So unless you were raised on this shit, there's a good chance you didn't know.
Well, let's put it into perspective for this next fact. Halo 4 turns 10 in November. Turned 10 on November 6th.
And I got that game. I got the special edition console with that game when I was in Michigan. So yeah, I mean, wow, that really put shit into perspective. That was not too long before I moved out here. Because me and Megan have been together just about 10 years. Come next July.
I still think Halo 1 coming out was yesterday. The fact that 4 is turning 10? Okay.
Okay, Grandpa. Let's get you back to bed.
No, but seriously. What the hell, man?
And they're still keeping the old Halos alive, too. With the Master Chief Collection. Master Chief Collection. I can't fucking talk tonight again, as usual. But it's the fact that they brought that game back. I should say they brought it along, and you can still play it, too.
Because it's a good game.
I agree. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Turn 10. Turn 10 on November 6th, since it's been a few days. And the day after
Congratulations,
that, and the day after that, I don't know how big of a Mass Effect fan you are or know much about it, but usually on November 7th, since the Normandy in the game, I forget where the number 7 comes from in it, but because the ship in the game is Normandy and there's a significance with the number 7, they dedicate November 7th as N7 Day or Mass Effect Day, and they usually share like screenshots and news and give updates about the games and things like that. Just recently, since N7 passed, like people were excited saying Happy N7 Day and whatnot, and I guess the devs shared a picture of some concept art from a game that they're working on in the universe. Considering Mass Effect Andromeda flopped hard, I'm wondering what they're going to do next. Because Andromeda was supposed to be like their big follow-up from their previous trilogy.
Yeah.
And it did not land at all.
Whatever it is, it's only up from here, I guess.
You're not wrong. They can only go up from here. Because there was a lot riding on that, and people were excited, and it came out, and people were like, what happened? It's just not the same. They tried, to be fair, they did try to do some different things with combat and whatnot, but it was the wrong direction. Especially with the narrative, I think was the biggest issue. I liked it. It was my first foray into Mass Effect 2. I did not play 1, 2, or 3. I should have played 2 because that was the one that was touted the most, but I jumped into Andromeda. I'm like, this isn't bad, but I don't know anything.
Right. I'm sure it also goes along the lines of like where it's probably another victim of it being one of those sequels that get built up so much people have it.
Yes, that's probably a thing too.
Right. Like you put the nail on the head just now. You didn't play any of the other ones. As a standalone title, you enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure your opinion probably would have been different had you played the other ones.
Yeah. I mean, I followed all the news from the 3, and I know about the gameplay and like the hang-ups and stuff, and all the controversy with the endings of the third one, but never really touched them. Wasn't a thing that grabbed me.
Right. So, it doesn't give them an excuse for the fan base to be as upset as they are, but at the same time...
Oh, I would say that their arguments were justified.
Alright.
Like, even playing the game, I liked the game, it was fun enough, but it was definitely rough. Especially knowing what they're capable of and comparing that to what they put out. It's kind of like, where'd you go wrong? Again, gameplay wasn't terrible. I didn't mind it, but there were some things that were pretty rough. It is what it is. I'm sure that they learned from their things and they're going to make the next one decent.
You would like to think so.
I'm maintaining hope.
Hope for the best, expect the worst.
Yes, that's my motto.
So, there was a pitch for 2D Dark Souls?
Yeah, I did not know this. Well, the reason why this came out apparently was the artist's NDA for the pitch is up. Like, I guess it lasted 6 years, so he's like, hey, check out what we were pitching to Bandai Namco, and they shot it down. Not negatively, I guess. Like, they just didn't pick it up and run with it. But a pixel artist was doing some concept work for a 2D Dark Souls game. And it looks like Dark Souls, but in pixel form, kind of like Metroidvania.
I'm wondering why they didn't pick it up though, because I would think that would be up their alley.
I would think so too, except Bandai Namco doesn't really do a lot of 2D games. It's a lot of like 3D stuff, and they're not hardcore about their titles, but like they keep them close to the vest kind of thing. So it was probably a little too far out of their wheelhouse to want to actually do that, especially considering the structure of Dark Souls games and how the areas kind of link together and the bosses are hard as fuck to kill.
Yeah.
I don't know how well the gameplay itself would translate to 2D.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, because if it seemed like they wanted to maybe lift that concept up from 3D and then apply it to a 2D Metroidvania style game, which doesn't translate if you're doing like a one-to-one thing. Whereas that same artist went and worked on a game called Blasphemous, which is a Dark Souls-esque 2D game with pixel art. And it fits on that one because it's the combat and stuff is wait, what am I trying to say? The art is based around the combat itself along with the story, rather than just trying to overlay it on another game.
Right. Alright.
So they probably have to change a lot for it to fit, but that's probably why they passed on it.
True. Well, it happened to work out better for him at that point, though.
Oh yeah, because Blasphemous came out a year or 2 years after that, and that game was pretty good. It did fairly decently, if I'm not mistaken. Tough as hell, though. I played it for a little while. My one gripe with that game is that it's hard to read. Like the text doesn't pop off the screen right, and it's in a special font, so when it blends into the background and it's tiny as hell, you can't really read it.
Oh, jeez. Then, yeah, I'd be screwed. Seeing as half the time I lose my glasses, and I need that to read the small print, so, yeah.
Oh, that's right, you wear glasses.
Yeah.
I forget that sometimes because I don't see you wear them very often.
I forget to put them on all the time. I just recently found it. You know, like how the cars have the visor, the glasses, the sunglasses case holder.
Oh, the one that you push and it falls down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, when I first got my truck, I had put my glasses in there at one point.
And you forgot?
I forgot they were there till like last week.
Remember my grandpa comment earlier?
I'm sorry.
You know, we're gonna get one of those chains that attach to the legs of your glasses, so that way it's always around your neck and you never lose them again.
You joke about that, but those are fun. I actually like those because I think the year me and Callie went to Disney for our honeymoon, I had gotten a rope one
around.
for my I had one for my sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
And when we finally got back, I moved them over to my glasses. And that I never forgot my glasses ever. Mm-hmm. Until I lost the freaking thing, and I was like, son of a bitch.
Okay, Grandpa.
Yeah, it doesn't help my case, did it?
Nah, it's okay. Still love you. You're good.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, man. So, do you want to talk about something sad, or do you want to talk about something happy next? Well, I say sad, but I'm like, not sad, more expected, and it took less time than I think I expected.
Go for it, because I'm...
You want to rip the Band-Aid, or you want to do something nice first and ease into it?
Nah, let's just rip it.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was surprised to hear... I didn't even know that they were revived to begin with.
That's why. That's why right there.
That G4 is being canned a year after being revived.
Not even a year. They made it 10 months, I think.
Really?
Yeah. I wonder if they were counting it differently, too, because, like, the proper launch of it was at one date, but they were doing online content and things building up to whenever they properly released it, because it was also on certain TV channels as well.
Right.
But I guess proper release of them, it was only about 10 months.
Yeah. I don't know what Comcast's idea behind it was.
They own the property. Like, way back when.
Really?
They must have held on to it.
I wouldn't have been against a revival, but having it on cable wasn't a good idea. I think if it was just a stream only type of thing. So it was a
hybrid model. I think they did streams online. They did content geared towards online, and then they also combined a lot of that to be on the channels as well.
Yeah.
But you summed it up perfectly when you said, I didn't even know that it came back.
Right.
That was a big part of it. Sorry, go ahead, finish your statement.
No. You're exactly what you're saying is exactly it. Because how many times have we talked about that's where we used to get our news when we were younger?
Oh, all the time. As soon as I come home, I flip it on and watch everything I could.
Right, and that's how I used to, and that's how I would get like the video game showcases and stuff like that every year. How I knew
that's where you would go to watch G4 or G4. Fuck me, E3. Yeah, of course you're watching G4 to watch G4. Yeah, that was where I would go to catch up on E3 stuff.
I think if they, I don't know. I think Comcast is still trying to flounder. They realize they're fighting a losing battle as far as like their battle against streaming services and stuff like that. But they went about it the wrong way. I think if they focus solely on the streaming portion of it, even if it was just like YouTube TV or YouTube or whatever,
Yeah.
and advertised it better, I think it would. I think it would have done well. To be honest.
I think advertising was a decent chunk of it. I know a lot of people knew about it too. Not enough, but it also didn't feel like they evolved. I watched quite a bit of things, and some of the X-Play reviews and coverage that they got for games and like the discussions they had were cool.
Mm-hmm.
But their comedy and sense of humor and stuff did not age. They kind of fell back into what they did before and didn't keep with the times, and it did not fit.
So they basically thought nostalgia alone was gonna.
Yeah, it felt like they kind of were building upon the namesake alone. And here's a very telling thing for you. There was a host or an anchor, I'm not sure what you want to call him, but one of the X-Play members was an out lesbian woman who was married to another woman who went on a rant about people watching X-Play and being upset that she's not some attractive person who doesn't have a lot of clothes on, and was basically upset at like the misogyny and misogynistic comments that she got during the show. Right after that, like let's say 2 days or so, I think, a little bit after that rant came out, they had on one of their shows some other woman in a scantily clad bikini with things being thrown at her and coming out of a ball pit. So it's like, how can you tout one thing and then show another?
Right, exactly.
Kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Pretty much. I don't know. I agree.
Just looking
100.
at these things, it kind of makes sense as to why it's going down again.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just at the same time. I'm just thinking in my head as you're saying all that. I'm like, wait. I was also the kid that used to watch the Man Show, and was
Yeah, that has no place in society these days either now.
yeah. And I'm like, and I enjoyed it then. Granted, I know better now. But
I think that's a big thing too, is a lot of people are maturing and understanding their faults back in the day and trying to make better.
right. Shame.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you don't get with the times. You go the way of the dinosaur. Dinosaur, for people who can't understand my language.
They became Dino Nuggies.
I don't even know what to say to that. Okay. Sad. I hope the best for everybody that came out of G4 the second time around. I know they had a lot of YouTube hosts too, like who had their own channels. Gerard the Completionist has his own YouTube channel that was doing really well before they pulled him in as an X-Play host too. I'm sure that he has that to fall back on at least.
Oh, I'm sure.
And not to mention they had like Austin Creed, Xavier Woods from WWE was one of the hosts on there for a while too.
Okay.
So you know that he's got something to fall back on as well.
Oh, absolutely.
But a lot of these people had backgrounds to begin with, and I don't want to say most, but a lot of them came from YouTube. So hopefully that door is still open.
I'm sure. I'm sure they still had their channels and stuff going on. May not be to the extent that they were when they signed up for G4, but that.
And you would hope that there's like no non-competition clause to where it's like, you're working for us, you can't do this kind of thing.
Right. Exactly.
Hopefully. That would suck though. Oh yeah, there is some really sad news, but we'll save that. Let's do the happy stuff first.
Yeah.
No sad faces. I saw that. Don't do that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Be happy.
So
this
okay.
surprised me.
Yeah.
Sonic Frontiers and God of War Ragnarok came out on the same day, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
With as much crap as Frontiers got, they must have did something good and fixed things, because it's got a 74 average score right now. That's not bad, especially considering the track record that 3D Sonic games have gotten,
Yeah.
and all the crap that this one got when a lot of the quote unquote influencers and journalists and stuff got to play a preview of it. That's pretty decent. Have you read any of the reviews at all?
I haven't read the reviews of the release, but I know the stuff. I know exactly what you're talking about. Where the previous stuff was pretty bad. 74 is still a passing grade, but
It's a solid B. C, B minus.
I want to say C range. I don't know. It's been out of school that long.
A lot of the outlets that are reviewing it are saying like it's a 3D Sonic game. You know, it's got its own jank and stuff, but it's solid. It's fun. It's fast, like they said it was going to be, but it's not without its hiccups.
I think I said this in a prior cast, but it's. I wouldn't mind trying it, but I wouldn't pay for it either. At this point, if it
You
comes
might
out
change
as
your mind after playing it too.
yeah, if it comes out as a monthly, like one of the free games on the PlayStation gives out every month, if it comes out, I'll try it. But at this point, I won't
Wasn't
go out of my
Kingdom
way to pay
Hearts
for it.
one of the games that came out for that recently too?
Really? I did not know that.
I think I saw something about Kingdom Hearts being one of the free downloads. Maybe. Don't quote me.
I'll have to check.
double
It wasn't last month. That much I know.
Yeah.
I
So,
haven't.
and then-
I haven't looked at the list for this month. So if it did, I'm surprised.
Yeah, this month had a pretty big game, but for some reason I can't remember the name of it. The name stuck with me, but I forgot the name of it itself.
Pardon the silence, people. I'm just looking it up. The games for this month is Neo 2, Lego Harry Potter Collection, and Heavenly Bodies.
I have no idea what Heavenly Bodies is.
I've
I'm surprised
heard
at Neo too.
the name sounds familiar, but I have no idea either. To be honest, I'm surprised Lego's allowing that a free game. To be honest,
I'm not.
I don't see
They
that.
they
often.
pumped out a lot of those games. Dude, Lego Ninjago, based on the movie, came out and it was put on sale not too long right after that. Just because it felt like there was an overabundance of those kind of games. So, not too surprising. And on the upside of game releases, of course, Ragnarok came out with 94 to 98% average depending on where you look. No surprise.
Oh, absolutely.
Let me go back to Frontiers. I want to try a demo of that game just to see how much better it is from the old 3D ones. But Ragnarok, I want to play just because of a video I saw about the combat, how fluid it is, and how things can chain into each of the weapons.
Ooh. I didn't hear about that, but I know I definitely, just from looking at videos of it and how pretty it looks, I definitely wanted to try it.
Just the combat and traversal, mixing together that I saw was pretty amazing. Especially for this being a sequel and them adding more stuff to it. But no surprise on the scores. They deserve it.
Agreed.
Alright, you want to make people sad?
I
Or
guess.
do you want to wait a minute?
Nah, let's rip off that Band-Aid too.
Okay, go ahead.
So yeah.
You be the one to do it. I don't want to take the blame.
Oh, thanks. So yeah, apparently another national treasure passed away. the voice of Batman, Kevin
Half of our
Conroy.
childhood.
I know, holy crap! I didn't even realize how many things he's done as Batman.
I know, it's like, if you need Batman, you go to him. He was the voice.
Yeah, pretty much. I've seen, when I heard what the hell's the other guy? From Whose Line?
I don't know, there's plenty of them. What does he look like?
Oh Jesus, hold on. He's
Drew Carey.
no, not Drew Carey.
Colin Mockery.
Huh?
Colin Mockery.
No, that's the bald guy, isn't it?
Yes, Ryan Stiles.
Oh,
Greg
Jesus.
Proops. Brad Sherwood. I can keep going.
Batman voice actor. Hold on. Jesus. Not Adam West. Jesus Christ. Diedrich Botter. I'm sorry if I
Oh,
butchered your
Diedrich
name.
Bader.
Yeah.
You
Like,
must be talking about the new Who's Line, because I don't remember him being on the old one.
he was. I could have sworn he was on Whose Line during, at some point.
I don't remember.
I don't know. Either which way, I didn't. When I first heard him come on as the voice actor for Batman after Kevin Conroy, I'm like, no, that's not Batman. Sorry, no,
Didn't have the same feel to it.
nope. Well, yeah. Nothing much else to say other than yeah, I'm pretty heartbroken about that. I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah. Sad day. Kind of surprising, too.
Agreed. I didn't even know he had cancer, and like you were saying, it was something that was brought on quick.
It seems like it kind of hit him quick because there was pictures of him that he put out around Halloween, and he looked pretty decent. He didn't look like anything was totally wrong.
Right. Like, granted, the guy is 66 years old, but still, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And from what
It's
people,
unfortunate.
yeah, and he was still hitting the Comic Cons, pretty heavily. So.
It seems like he was all about it, too.
Oh, absolutely. I think he was always about the fan base.
Can you see the ghost?
Yeah.
She made it.
Yay. But yeah, no, sad day.
All right. Okay. No more sad. Let's go back to happy. My personal happy is that Remedy and 505 came out officially and said that they're making a sequel to Control.
I had to look up what Control was. I've never heard of the game, but
Man,
it looks
you gotta
sick.
try that game. Have you ever tried Alan Wake?
No, I've never heard it. I'm gonna shut it. I'm sorry.
Man, I need to get you it for a weekend and just go through a bunch of games and have you try them. I can show you so much.
Hey, sounds fair to me, man.
I know Megan's over here singing I can show you the world.
Sorry to everybody listening.
That's exciting. I can't
Oh.
wait. I was surprised at Control. Like I played Alan Wake and I love those games. They made a game that was kind of crazy for the time too, and Quantum Break.
Mm-hmm.
It was a cool concept. It took Littlefinger from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
He was the main villain in it, and your character had like time abilities, where you can make a time bubble around you, so people are shooting at you. You collect the bullets, and then you can like push your bubble out to send them back to them.
Okay.
You can create like a time shield in front of you. You can slow them in a time bubble itself. But this is all based around like the Littlefinger dude's experiment in the game. They
Okay.
gave him the ability and you the ability because you got stuck next to the machine. Alongside the game, though, was a complete TV series that went along with it that you could watch like in conjunction with the game. And sometimes you can make certain choices while watching the episode to do things. And in doing so, it would affect which path you took in the game as well.
Okay.
It was neat. It was a pretty cool concept. The story itself was a little heady, but the gameplay and like that kind of element to it was awesome.
I'd have to look into it more because I'm not exactly sure how that would work. Well, obviously it worked because you've seen it, but
I played it. Top to bottom, I got all the achievements in the game.
yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that because it is an interesting concept. I just want to see how that works.
It's cool. I'll show you it next time you come over.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would require me downloading like another 50 gigs of videos.
Oh,
Because that's how
Jesus.
much those are.
But yes, back to the Control. If 2 is anything like the first one, from the videos I've seen, it looks sick.
I'm more excited to see where they're going to go with the story on that, too.
I know nothing about the story, so I couldn't tell.
Do you know anything about SCP?
Nope. You're just
You don't
throwing
know
acronyms
about-
at me.
Man, I forget what SCP actually stands for because I don't get into that stuff. But the basic idea is real world objects are kind of like extrasensory and extra spatial, where they affect the real world in ways that you don't realize or understand.
Mm-hmm.
So take like there's a telephone in the game that you use to get information that helps you out based on this giant black triangle that's in another dimension that whispers like garbled mess at you, but your character understands it. And you have the ability to cleanse some objects that are interfering with the world and messing with the place that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those include a jukebox that you go in and fight these things called the hiss in to cleanse that. There is a old TV or an old video projector that you go into and you're stuck on a train like playing out a fake movie while defeating these things to cleanse that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge sci-fi kind of thing,
Okay.
but it's cool. So I don't want to spoil that game for anybody that doesn't or hasn't played it yet. But with the end of that game, I'm wondering where they could go with it. It would be a lot of like, she's grown into her powers, she knows who she is, and she's taken over what she needs to now.
Mm-hmm.
Now where do you go from there? Like, what's the next thing gonna be?
Right.
It's exciting. And Remedy seems to never miss, too, so I know it's in good hands.
We'll have to see.
Yes.
So you must be excited for this other game that's on this list.
Which one?
Tales?
No.
No?
Yes, of course. It finally got a release date, because I know we talked about it, not the last time, but I think the episode before last, I was like, oh, they're putting out a remaster, and it just said TBD. Now they finally told us when it's going to come out. I'm excited that it's going to come out in February. What I'm a little not excited about was reports saying that it's just like an upscale remaster, where they're not really changing it to be 60 frames. They're not going to fix the anti-aliasing. There's going to be some tearing in it still, because it seems like it's just a PC port with an upscale and some graphics.
Oh,
But
geez,
if it still plays like the GameCube game, that game played fine. I don't give a shit. If it played 30 frames, well, that game played 30 frames a second and was solid still. Everything still looked nice. So if
Alright.
it's upscaled and up-res for the new consoles and it still plays well, I don't give a shit.
Now would you?
I love that game.
Now would you pay full price for it though?
Well, the dawn of $70 games is here, so no, I would not pay $70 for it. Maybe 60 because that's what I paid for it back in the day. I might still have it downstairs too, even though I don't have a GameCube. I might pay 60. Might be worth more like 40, just because of how old it is, and it's basically a port. And I'm sure that it's probably 40 on Steam if I looked, maybe even less. But yeah, I paid 40 to 60. But that's just my personal preference because I love that game and it's
Right.
nostalgia.
I don't know, that's the way I. Now that we talk about the remasters more and more on that fact, it's just making me think more, especially with how expensive games are getting. Is the remaster worth paying that kind of money? And if it's not, if they're not even bothering to do like 60 frames per second and stuff like that, and only doing like minor upscaling to match the new systems, I don't think I would pay it on my end. But
I'm trying to think of the right words to say for that, because a lot of it is preference. A lot of it plays on a lot of people's nostalgia as well.
yeah,
And a lot of it is the effort that they put into it. Because if it's just a port, and maybe they'll try to touch up the graphics and make it look nice, but it's still the same thing. I don't know that it's worth the same price as it was back in the day, because it's... see, even that's not a fair assessment, because it's the same game on a new generation of consoles. And if it was $60 before, why shouldn't it be 60 now? But at the same time, do you price older games less because the graphics were not so good, or because it was so long, or because it came out on a certain console? Should they add more stuff in that wasn't in the game to make it worth $60? Should they do the Final Fantasy route and completely overhaul it? Like, where is the line for that?
Right. Because I don't know. It's just personal preference. Like you said, it's a nostalgia thing, and I'm a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite for talking like this because I'm literally the guy that rebought Kingdom Hearts 1, and 2 in the installments every time they've released it on a new console.
Yeah.
And I paid the full price, so I'm a bit of a hypocrite for talking like that. But
Here you go, perfect example. I got Skyward Sword again on the Switch, even though I had it for the Wii. I think it's the same price both ways too, but still got it because I love the game.
right,
They didn't do anything to it except take out motion controls, and they changed them to be compatible with the Switch now. Still, it's still Wii controls, but it's on the Switch, and it's a lot smoother and less clunky based on how they did it before. But it's still the same. The graphics are a little bit better to match the time. That's really about it.
right.
But to me, it's worth it because I love that shit.
I think it's one of those things that it's definitely a personal preference at that point. I probably wouldn't pay that price for it, but I'm also not a big fan of Tales. Not because I don't like the game, it's because I haven't played them.
Right. So you have a different perspective on it.
Right.
To each their own.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, good. Oh, yeah. Animal Crossing. Did we? I feel like we talked about this last time. Maybe I'm wrong. But Animal Crossing New Horizons is the all best selling game in Japan now.
Not that particular topic, but I think we might have talked about Animal
Maybe
Crossing last time.
I swear we talked about Animal Crossing last time, but even if we did, to reiterate, New Horizons is the all-time best-selling game in Japan now, of everything.
I think what surprised the hell out of me is the games that they beat out, and I didn't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
Red, blue, and green.
Mm-hmm.
Those games held out that long.
When you compare markets, it seems like Japanese gamers tend to focus on other types of games, and Animal Crossing falls into those categories. It's a really chill game. They don't play like crazy action shoot 'em up gory shit like we do. It's a lot of slice of life, graphic novel, chill hangout games, it seems.
No, I agree with that. Every market has its own, like, I'm sure over here has their own preference. Where, like, over here, like you said, shoot 'em up type games, sports games, stuff like that. Where Japan is, like you said, the slice of life type of games and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just surprised that, even though, and I understand it's popular, but the very first iteration of the Pokemon games was still the highest grossing game in Japan.
You have to remember that was also years and years and years ago. Not a lot of people played video games like they do now.
But
We
even
have
that,
way more people playing video games these days than we did back in the day.
right? But that also adds to the fact that a lot more people play video games now than they did back then.
You didn't hear her, did you?
What?
Megan's back here going, back in my day.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, I'm going to title this one the Old Man Podcast because I keep calling you Grandpa and now she's acting like I'm old.
Oh, Jesus. If we ever come to like a title card for whatever, it's got to be us, somebody with a wheelchair or a walker or something.
Old man yells at clouds.
But yeah, think about it. A lot more people play video games now compared to back then. But Pokemon was that popular back then that the fan base or the amount of people that are playing games in the 30. I want to say what 30 something years at this point.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Japan got a head start on us too with Pokemon. It didn't come out for what 6 months to a year before we ever got it. Maybe even longer, actually.
I want to say it was longer.
Yeah, I,
But
I want to lean towards 2 years, but they only had a partial. What am I trying to say? They only had half the numbers because it was only out in Japan first. You know, they waited 2 years at least before they got it here. So
I don't know. I just the idea mind boggles me that Pokemon was that pop. I understand it was popular, but that popular that no Japanese game has beat them out in Japan since then until now.
I don't know, man. Different times. That's really all you can chalk it up to. Like I said, a lot more people are playing games, and there's a lot more people in the world. So maybe it should be like a comparison thing, where you're comparing numbers to now, and then do it like inflation.
Yeah. How I would like to know how we go about it, but yeah.
I don't know. That's above me. Falls in line with my degree, but that's above me right now.
So it looks
Okay.
like you might have to take it over from here.
I was just about to ask, which do we do first?
Let's go over
And
the showcase.
I also had to fix one of the names because I realized that autocorrect likes to fuck me on the doc. It's supposed to be Mick, M-I-C-K, not Nick. Just so you know. Okay.
I know who you were talking about.
All right. So you want me to run through the showcase before we get into that stuff?
Pretty much. Because I've seen a couple of the things that you had on the showcase, but I haven't seen all of it. I definitely want to try one of the games that's on there, and I'll let you know when that one comes up.
Oh, you actually checked out some of the trailers?
Yeah. Have a Nice Death.
Yes, that game looked really fun.
That looks
It
awesome.
reminded me a lot of oh fuck, of course I lost the name. Guacamelee. It looks a lot like that. Same idea.
Yeah.
Do you know what Guacamelee is?
Not a clue.
Okay. Take the look of that game and the feel, almost the art style. The idea of the game, how it's like closed off battle arenas and you're progressing through the levels, but apply a Lucha Libre theme to it.
Okay.
And you're doing wrestling moves and everything to the characters. It's really neat.
I think it's good. Just the trailer alone, it looks cute.
The trailer was really well done.
Oh yeah.
For it being an indie game.
If the gameplay is anything like that, I'm all for it.
Yes. Okay, let's start from the top.
Okay.
So, let me give this a quick count because I did not count these beforehand. 1, 2, 3. Where are we? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. If I counted that right, 22 indie games that they showed off. I think actually 23. Not bad. All these look solid. A lot of them looked a lot more fun than the others.
Yeah.
But that's just my preference. I guess let's go down the list and start for the top one. Venba. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's a narrative cooking game with a focus on Indian cuisine. From what I gathered on the trailer, it's a... Oh man, what'd they say? I think it was an Indian woman or an Indian couple, and they moved to Canada. And you learn whatever story they're telling through cooking food based on recipes that you find and get in the game.
That is more information than I knew. Just based on the trailer, it looked like a young Indian family.
Well, during the showcase, they give a little... Like, they show the trailer and then they talk about the game a little bit and what to expect from it.
Ah, okay. Yeah, basically, to me, it looks like a cute Indian version of Cooking Mama type of thing.
Kinda, yeah. I can see that. Next one, Goodbye World.
That's weird.
It's interesting. It's all pixel art, and the story is done in like the overworld where it's the top-down view, and that's where all the story stuff goes on. But then it switches to like a Game Boy view, and it's a puzzle platformer to progress the story.
Yeah.
And I guess the idea is it's two people trying to get the next idea to make a game.
It just
Nope.
I don't know, the description kind of that I read kind of felt awkward, to be honest. But then again,
Yeah,
the title
some of the stuff in the trailer itself was a little weird,
yeah,
awkward.
it makes, and the title doesn't help. It basically sounds like it's an ode to, hey, we didn't make it.
Or they just need a narrative. Let me try to get that straight. Narrative device to move the story along. So they just add puzzle platformer elements into it.
Right.
I don't know. Okay, now we're already next to yours. Have a Nice Death. That was the third one on the list. Metroidvania style action game. Where you run it through. I keep saying Metroidvania. You know the types of games that I mean by that, right?
Right.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, side scroller games, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. And you're traversing the castle, map, layout, wherever you are kind of deal. And all the battles take place in closed-off arenas as you move along in those areas.
What I would hope, just judging by it, it would become like a mobile release or something like that too. But
To me, that looks a little too extensive to be a mobile game.
really,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'd be too hard to do touch controls on that. Might be able to do it through, like, streaming, like xCloud.
Yeah, okay. I get what you're talking about. Because I know.
Speaking of which, Vampire Survivors is perfect for xCloud, too.
I'm just
saying.
trying to think of now that you're talking about it, where the touch controls might be a little janky.
Like, a lot of that stuff is combos. So
Yeah.
you're constantly pressing buttons and doing different things. So I don't know how well that would translate to a touchscreen.
Right. And that just reminded me of how I didn't care for how Diablo Immortal worked on the mobile.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, no, that threw me off, so I didn't think of that. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
All right, next one. A game called Aka. You're like a red panda dude on an island, and it's similar to Animal Crossing. It's a smallish open world, and your goal is to just hang out. That's basically how they described it.
Okay.
If you like those chill, easy games that you just sit back and relax with, probably something to look into.
Okay.
What's interesting is they specifically said that it was a small open world. Like,
Okay.
they specifically labeled and called that out, which is kind of surprising. Usually when they say open world, they just say open world, but never describe it. Pepper Grinder. This game looks really cool.
Okay.
And I know that it's going to be fun because it's being distributed by Devolver Digital.
Okay.
They're the same ones who are putting out Gunbrella, which is coming out next year. They put out those... dude, we watched the showcase. What was that? The Angry Foot or whatever game? They're putting that game out.
Oh, those same people. Okay.
Yes. So yeah, this game, you're just a person with a drill, and you traverse the levels using that drill to get through, like, to solve puzzles and get to basically the flag that you actually have to crank up at the end to complete the level. It's like Mario with a drill,
Oh,
but
Jesus.
more fun.
Okay.
It looks really cool. Check out the trailer. I would recommend it.
Okay.
I'm not doing it justice. Coffee Talk Episode 2. This was out on Games with Gold a couple of years ago. So I actually downloaded and gave it a shot. If you like games that you don't have to really do much but just hang out, this is one of those, because you literally have people walk into your coffee shop and they tell you their stories and you meet new characters and people. In this one, they're going to have like monster type people.
Okay.
Like characterized people.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, you literally make coffee. That's all you do. There's a lo-fi soundtrack to it. They have their own stories. Days pass in the game and things happen in their stories, and you just make them coffee and you learn new recipes. What's next? Oni. That game looked cute and weird. It seems like it's an open world game,
Okay.
but you are a vengeful spirit, they said in the game, and I guess you inhabit it. You inhabit an Oni, or you are an Oni in this world, and you're just trying to become the strongest Oni. That's the whole goal of that game.
Okay. So I'm assuming you fight other spirits. Do you consume them or whatever, or they not give?
So oh man, what they say? You cleanse the spirits or you consume them, and some of them are invincible. So your only choice is to run away.
Okay.
But there's a backstory because you are a vengeful spirit because somebody defeated you, and your goal is to become the strongest Oni to get back at them, I guess.
Okay.
Desta, the memories between. This game has a pretty cool concept.
Okay.
You're reliving memories, and the stories play out in those memories, but to get through each thing, you have to build your team based on the memories of the people that you visited through dodgeball matches.
Okay.
It's all dreamy and stuff, but the orbs, you play it like dodgeball, but it's a 3-on-3 match. It's cool. The trailer makes it look really neat.
I'll have to take a look at that one then.
Okay, A Space for the Unbound. This one didn't stick with me. I don't remember what that one was about.
Okay.
So I'm gonna look that one up again. But the one that I told you about, I hate saying this because it's got an accent to it. Dordogne. I like the idea of that game, and it's really pretty. That one's the one I told you about, where it's a 3D watercolor world, and it's kind of like a puzzle exploration game, where you're going back to, I think they said you're someone visiting your grandparents' house where they were before, and you're uncovering secrets that they left behind, and you get all these cool little tools to help you solve these puzzles. What?
No, I was saying that sounds like a pretty cool concept of the game.
Oh yeah, Space for the Unbound. It was a pixelized game where you're some character back in the 90s, but I forget what the story behind it was. And I think it was just a lot of exploration. Oh, this has a Shenmue feel to it. Just not counting the time.
I have no idea what that is. What is a Shenmue?
You don't know what Shenmue is from the Dreamcast?
I'm a PlayStation kid.
I'll have to talk about that later to you. Anyway, it looks cool, especially if you like pixelized games. I don't really know much about it.
Okay.
Botany Manor. You're taking care of plants. That's all I really need to say about that. You're just taking care of plants. Once Upon a Jester. This is a pretty cool idea for a game.
Okay.
They got it based off finger puppets. I guess that was the inception of their idea for the game.
Okay.
And your goal is you're a jester character and you're part of like a comedy troupe.
Mm-hmm.
And you set what you want to happen in the scenes, and you have to complete these scenes and do it well, I guess, to continue on with the game. And some things can be random and some things change as you go, and you kind of have to adapt to it.
Okay.
But it's supposed to be tongue-in-cheek and funny because you're a jester. I don't know. It's a cool idea.
Seems like a cool concept. So,
have you ever heard of Rogue Legacy? Oh, sorry. Go.
No, I was gonna say the concept reminds me of at the beginning of Final Fantasy IX, where
kind of, yeah. That's not
the
a bad
tankless thing.
comparison. Yes. Yeah. And fuck that minigame. It's so hard. Have you ever perfected it?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I've tried it multiple freaking times. I can tell you that much.
Mm-hmm. It sucks, but in a good way.
Hey, it's one of my favorite games, so I don't care.
I still love Final Fantasy VIII, so you can have it.
I'm good with 8. I never finished it. The battle system. I will say it again. The battle system.
You hurt.
Bothers me.
What? Oh, you're talking about the junctioning? Because all the Final Fantasies from 7 on were ATBs.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about the junctioning and all that stuff, because
Yeah.
the whole... It was all weird to me.
It was complicated.
Yeah. I wasn't into that. I'm sorry, no.
That's all right. It's not for everybody.
Mm.
Rogue Legacy 2. Have you ever heard of the first one?
I did not. What is it
Okay.
about?
I don't really know. I never played it. From my gathering is the characters that you pick are completely random and the things that you encounter are completely random,
Okay.
which makes it a roguelike game. And your goal is to just get through the levels based on what you find in them and what you pick up, and I think maybe even how your characters level up.
Okay.
Kind of like how Enter the Gungeon is completely random depending on which floor you're on and what guns show up.
Yeah.
But it's all character based, and you level up your skills as you go.
Okay.
Blank, BLANC. This game looked cute. It's just black and white. That's all the colors are, and it's a 2-player game. I don't know if it's going to be multiplayer online or not, but they strictly said 2 players because one person plays a fox and the other plays a fawn, and you have to solve puzzles working together to get through each area.
That's got to be interesting. So it's not really... If you're going to get the game, you have to have somebody in mind that you're going to be playing with, I would assume.
Maybe, or it can be like there's a game called A Tale of Two Brothers where you're controlling 2 brothers, literally, but you have to split them up to get through certain areas. And
Yeah.
you control both of them just one at a time. So
Yeah.
it could be entirely possible you can play a single player too.
Okay. We'll just have to wait and see.
So the next few, they didn't really give any explanation. It was like a quick peek at a bunch of them that they flashed by.
Mm-hmm.
Guess which one stood out?
World of Horror, saying that's all in caps.
Nope. Come on, there should be one that looks really familiar to you. I even posted it on the Facebook page. It was in one of our earlier episodes. Remember when I said old man?
Yes, I'm old man right now. I'm sorry.
WrestleQuest.
Okay.
That's the RPG that's based off the WWE characters.
Oh my god.
Now it hit you. There you go.
Uh-huh.
I think they finally got a release date for that game too.
Oh, when
It's
is
not
it?
coming out till May of next year.
That's not too bad, though.
Yeah, about 8 months away.
Yeah.
7 months. Math. Anyway, I was just surprised to see that on there. I'm like, hey, I remember that. We talked about that. It was on maybe even the 3rd episode that we started.
Well,
So,
that makes one of us.
Yeah. In that list that went by really quick, there was WrestleQuest, Wobble Dogs Console Edition, which I don't even remember seeing that on Steam or anything. Storyteller, World of Horror, Curse of the Sea Rats, and Inscription. I don't know anything about any of those except for WrestleQuest and Inscription.
Okay.
If you have not played Inscription, I would recommend it.
Okay. I have not played it, but I will add it to my list.
Okay. Then we had A Little to the Left, which that game, I like the idea of it, but you gotta really like puzzles. It's made by a couple and their cat. Their cat is like the central theme of all the game, basically, because it's a snippet, not even a snippet, it's a collection of 72 little puzzles using household items and things drawn in their own style. But there are multiple solutions to the puzzles. One of the examples they used was lining up pencils in the right order. The pencils were different colors, different sizes, and had different lengths of their lead, like how sharp it was. And there was at least 3 different solutions that you can do that. There was also a book sorting puzzle where it was different sized books, like different thicknesses, different colors, and different designs on the spines. And you can rearrange them in different orders.
Okay.
Yep.
So it seems basically like one of those pass the time type of games.
Yeah, something leisure to kick back and relax with.
Okay.
And then we got an update to Sports Story. The follow-up to Golf Story. I think is what the name was. Yeah. It seems like more of the same, but more games to play in it. I heard a lot of good things from it, though. So I gotta try it.
Okay.
And it's coming out in December, so soon.
Christmas! Yay!
You know, it didn't say when. It just said December, so that's a good point. It could come out around Christmas.
If it comes out after Christmas, though, that's kind of pushing it.
Well, you might be surprised. The day after Christmas or 2 days after, it might not be a bad time because people get gift cards and things for Christmas. Start pushing advertising around that time.
Didn't think of it that way.
You're welcome. All right. Are you ready to get to the fun stuff?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, you have the floor. Or do you want me to introduce it and then you take it away? Because it's a lot. Because I know the backstory of it and how it got started.
So, basically... No, I could take it from here. Basically, it's the guy... Oh, my God. How do you call him?
You can do it, I got you.
The composer, right?
The audio engineer, audio composer. Yeah, well, I would say the game composer.
Yeah.
Composer for the game.
Game composer for Doom Eternal.
He was the only one. Like, they lean on him. He doesn't have a team. This is all him doing it himself.
That's what I was getting from, and we can go into more detail once we're further into the conversation. That it seemed like he was the only person. It's not like a team, even though.
Well, hang on. Before we get into it, let's actually introduce what it is. 2 years after a statement was put out on Reddit from the new composer for the game for Doom Eternal, they put out a statement complaining and talking about how the OST for the game came out. 2 years after that, Mick Gordon, the original composer for Doom and who was supposed to be for Doom Eternal, came out and put his statement out. And it was scathing.
Ooh, you ain't kidding. I actually read it from top to bottom, and I'm like, holy shit! He put them on blast, and I really want to see how this turns out. Cause
I still argue that his statement was gone over by a lawyer with a fine-tooth comb just to make sure that his ass was covered. Because it seems like it was written at least by a lawyer, if not rewritten to be careful.
Oh, exactly. They have to because of the fact that any assumptions or if he says something wrong, it's a defamation lawsuit.
He had screenshots and everything.
Oh, absolutely. The fact that I saw that and I'm like, oh shit.
So I'm gonna give you the floor. Why don't you walk us through what his letter to the public was?
And bear in mind, whoever's listening to this, you have to read it. There's no way in hell for me to. Huh?
I said no one's listening. Don't worry.
Well, if whoever happens to listen, I'm not gonna. I guarantee I'm not gonna do any justice to this, but basically the point for
I'll provide links for this too.
Huh?
I'll provide links for this too for people to read. I'll since I gave you the links, I'll link both Mick Gordon's statement and Marty's statement from 2 years ago.
His point is like his statement is in retaliation for that post that, from what Adam was talking about, mentioned Marty. He was the one in charge of the project for Doom over at, what the hell was the name of the company?
id Software.
There we go. Thank you. Where Marty had said that this guy was given ample time and that they were forthwith in working with him, and he just couldn't make deadlines for whatever the reason and meet the contract, anything like that, and made it sound so bad that like the Reddit community went after this guy. I'm reading some of the posts from that were replies to that mention, mind you, this is unprofessional whatsoever. So how the company even thought it was okay to keep that up and allow at this point, I have no
I
idea.
think because he was so high up, he was allowed to say so.
Must be nice to have that position. But
I mean, considering the shit that he said to Mick in the emails that that he put out, I'm not really surprised.
oh, same. But reading Mick's reply point for point for point, he, like you said, Mick was the only person doing this, and he worked for almost a freaking year without getting paid, without any, and if his side of the story is true, without any direction, getting berated left and right, to the point that he had to go over their head to talk to the main company.
And the deadline they gave him was nigh impossible with the parameters that they set to. Because he even said in his statement, a month or two to do it was a month. 2 levels in a month to get the music down, when they didn't even have but a concept of how the levels were going to start for him to be able to do that. And a lot of his music is it's very specific to what you're doing in the game. And at any time, those little audio snippets are at least 30 seconds in length, and they have to chain together based on what your character's doing. Right. And he has to do all that shit for 2 levels a month, and they only had 2 years to do it.
And the caveat on top of that is he'll turn them in, but they have to approve it. And if they say no, they don't like it.
Afterwards, they canned him after he did a lot of the stuff.
Yeah. He didn't pay. If they didn't like it, they say, no, I'm not going to use it. They don't pay him.
And they fought him for the payments, too. Because he's like, hey, you used it in promotional stuff. You used the work. That counts as whatever. You have to pay for it. And then they finally did after, 5 or 6 months? After arguing with them?
Unless I'm misunderstanding, if we're talking about the stuff for the game, they only paid him what he was contracted.
No, I mean during production. They actually he went 9 months
without pay.
He was like, "Hey, you need to pay me." So they paid him for a certain amount of time. But afterwards, they didn't pay him after.
And they used every excuse under the book to try not to pay him.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, I don't get it. And then on top of that, they go to use twice the amount, even the stuff that they said, no, it's no good, we don't want it. They still end up using it, according to his statement. So not only did he do twice the work and only got paid for what was contracted amount, he got, when they announced the OST, they did pre-order sales.
I was waiting for you to bring that up.
Huh?
I was waiting for you to bring this up. Because this was a shitty situation, too, for him. Because his own reputation was on the line when they put his name on this without even consulting him in the first place.
Right. Well, at that point, I'm surprised he didn't contact his lawyer in regards to that, because I don't think they could drag him into that without a contract. I would assume, but
I don't know. I wonder if they were just, since he was contractually obligated to make the music for the game, they were just going to turn that around and say, hey, throw this into the OST as it is, when he even pointed out the structure of how music is made for games. The OST is one thing, whereas the game for the music is a totally different thing, just on the way that it's supposed to flow.
Right, exactly. Just like, that was the point where, like, they did the pre-sales for the OST, knowing what it was. They don't reach out to him about it till he reaches out to the main company. He never
got a reply.
Right. He went over the id's head and went straight to the main company. Yeah, Bethesda. He was like, listen, I would love to work on this. You guys announced this. I haven't heard anything. What's going on?
And his name was attached to it. They put his name on it.
Right. And they were more than willing right away. Hey, yeah, we'll work on the contract. what are your terms, stuff like that, without even consulting id, and then to turn around and say all these things where, hey, they were very very clear. This is what we're doing. This is what we were contracted, and then id's involvement at that point where, you said Mac, right? I'm having a hard time remembering the guy's name.
Mick.
No, the other guy.
Marty.
Marty. There you go. Where Marty's saying a totally different story.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, well, here's the stuff we've worked on. Whoa, hey, you guys have been working on this long before?
To sum up his post is basically throwing Mick under the bus and saying they did everything right and he made everything so much harder.
Right. All this to what? Save a buck?
Probably to save face because when the game came out, there was a lot of talk about the music in the game and people noticed, it sounds like it, but it's missing something. It doesn't have that same Mick Gordon feel.
Right.
And I think that's what prompted Marty to make the post. Not to mention the OST was delayed heavily.
Yeah, to the point that they would have been in legal ramifications if they didn't release it when they did.
Yep. Which is why it was kind of messy.
Yeah.
Yep. And I believe that is what spurred the post on, and he was just like, yeah, fuck this guy, he messed up, when in actuality that's not the case.
Right. Because and the fact that, again, if that conversation went the way that Mick's statement is saying, they had a mutual understanding, and they just only had that last conversation to throw the guy under the fucking bus and buy himself time. And now this guy's reputation is ruined. His personal life is ruined. He's getting death threats from Reddit, and I'm like, I've known and heard that Reddit.
I can't blame people, man. A few bad apples spoil the bunch. It's one of those things that we've talked about where people just take things too far and get pissed off because they take it so personally.
Right, exactly. Nobody deserves to get death threats and have their family threatened, have their livelihood threatened, all because
just because they don't like something.
Right. Or the fact that you're going to believe a one-sided story.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the two, Marty's post makes it sound like Mick had a whole fucking team. And Mick is saying that it's just him.
And Marty's post was just saying how difficult he was to work with and how much more time he wasted and made things harder on the team when, here comes Mick with all the receipts and saying, yep, here's my emails. You can see I wasn't doing that.
Right, exactly.
Fun stuff. I would recommend everyone read the posts. I'm going to link them where I can. It's worth a read.
Oh, absolutely. It's you have to read it in its entirety and
with context.
Yeah. My explanation, like I said, does not give it justice. I would love to see how this goes from here.
It's a crazy story.
Well, it also goes to show how, like, we've talked about this stuff week after week, but how much people are getting screwed over in the gaming industry, especially independent contractors.
Mm-hmm.
From testers to, in this particular case, a composer, programmers, different people down the line.
There's a crazy situation going on with the creators of Disco Elysium too, in a almost similar situation. Not so much as it is audio rights and things like that, but just development behind the scenes things and disagreements. That I need to read more into to fully understand what's going on, because there's lawsuits against different groups within the company itself and people arguing. So that one's going to be a story for another day.
You'll have to, whatever you find, send me leaks and I'll gladly read it.
I will gather those up and let you know. Yeah. Fun stuff.
Pretty much. hopefully things are getting better, and I hope Microsoft keeps to their word on trying to make things as fair as possible, because this is one of the things they gotta fix.
Oh, that's right. They own Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder how that's going to work out for them.
I'm wondering if they
You know,
even knew
they're-
about this situation.
They might be aware of it, but I don't see them doing anything because, they didn't do it. It's out of their hands. It's I almost said independent company. It's a company under their umbrella, but it's not like they have them under lock and key. They're allowed to do as they will and make their games how they want.
Right. They gotta do. I don't know. They have to do something, because you can't go and say, "Hey, we're gonna make things right for the beta testers," but not do
That's
something.
a totally different situation, though. You're talking about Activision Blizzard versus somebody making music for a game.
Weren't they in a similar situation though?
That was all union stuff,
Yeah.
and that was for QA testers. They fought and won their union rights, so now Raven Software is a union underneath Activision Blizzard, and they're still employed by them.
Yeah.
This would have to make more waves and actually affect Microsoft proper for them to put out a statement or get their hands in it. This is more like, hey, you guys are doing some funky shit, fix it, before it becomes more of a problem.
Right.
So I can see it just being a Bethesda and id Software thing.
Mm.
Fun stuff.
Yes, it is.
If you have an hour and you need something to read these things.
May take longer than an hour.
Okay. Well, yeah, the next statement is really long. Hour and a half.
Yeah, I would say that'd be a fair assessment.
Hmm.
Some parts repetitive, but very thorough.
Well, sometimes you have to be repetitive to be thorough.
Yeah, sure.
It's a lot of reiterating.
And if you're going to be reading for an hour and a half straight, you need that repetition to remind you of some things.
Yep.
Oh, Jesus, we're almost at 2 hours.
Jesus. I'm gonna have to try and cut this down then. All right, let's get out of here before it gets too much longer. Oh my God. All right, Mike, where can we find us?
We can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and where else?
Instagram.
Instagram. Haha.
And that's all. What is it? Twitter is the Ramblepack_pod, and no, that's Instagram. Twitter is the Ramblepack pod, all one word, and then Facebook, you just search us, and the page should come up.
Look for the old dudes.
Our pictures aren't on there, thankfully. Don't want to scare anyone.
I swear I'm a cute little teddy bear. Oh no, that's bad. Okay, never mind. Forget I just said that.
Okay, say bye, Mike.
Bye, guys.